Welcome, lovely viewers, to another exciting video. Welcome to our channel, where today's focus is all about Great Falls, Montana. Let's get started. Great Falls is the third most populous city in the U.S. state of Montana and the county seat of Cascade County. The population was 60,442 according to the 2020 census. The city covers an area of and is the principal city of the Great Falls, Montana Metropolitan Statistical Area, which encompasses all of Cascade County. The Great Falls' population stood at 84,414 in the 2020 census. A cultural, commercial and financial center in the central part of the state, Great Falls is located just east of the Rocky Mountains and is bisected by the Missouri River. It is from the eastern entrance to Glacier National Park in northern Montana, and from Yellowstone National Park in southern Montana and northern Wyoming. A north-south federal highway, Interstate 15, serves the city. Great Falls is named for a series of 5 waterfalls located on the Missouri River north and east of the city. The Lewis and Clark expedition was forced to portage around a stretch of the river in order to bypass the falls. The company spent 31 days in the area, performing arduous labor to make the portage. 3 of the waterfalls, known as Black Eagle, Rainbow and the Great Falls or the Big Falls, are among the sites of 5 hydroelectric dams in the area, giving the city its moniker, the Electric City. Other nicknames for Great Falls include the River City and Western Art Capital of the World. The city is also home to 2 military installations, Malmstrom Air Force Base east of the city, which is the community's largest employer, and the Montana Air National Guard to the west, adjacent to Great Falls International Airport. The federally recognized Little Shell Tribe of Chippewa Indians of Montana are located in Great Falls. Great Falls is a popular tourist destination in Montana, with 1 million overnight visitors annually, who spend an estimated $185 million while visiting, according to the Great Falls Montana Tourism Group. Among Montana cities, Great Falls boasts the greatest number of museums, with 10, including the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center near Giant Springs and the Celsius M. Russell Museum, an original log cabin studio on the city's north side. Great Falls was the largest city in Montana from 1950 to 1970, when it was eclipsed by Billings in the 1970 census. Missoula assumed second place in 2000. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards history and uncover its hidden depths. For much of prehistory, no permanent settlements existed at or near Great Falls, though Salish Indians seasonally hunted bison in the region. Around 1600, Piegan Blackfeet Indians, migrating west, entered the area, pushing the Salish back into the Rocky Mountains and claiming the area now occupied by Great Falls. The area remained territory of the Blackfeet until long after the United States claimed the region in 1803 as part of the Louisiana Purchase. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark led the Lewis and Clark expedition into the newly purchased territory from 1804 to 1806. The expedition came upon the Great Falls of the Missouri River on June 13, 1805. Politically, the future site of Great Falls passed through numerous hands in the 19th century. It was part of the unincorporated frontier until May 30, 1854, when Congress established the Nebraska Territory. On March 2, 1861, the site became part of the Dakota Territory. The Great Falls area was incorporated into the Idaho Territory on March 4, 1863. And then into the Montana Territory on May 28, 1864. It became part of the state of Montana upon that territory's admission to statehood on November 8, 1889. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma of founding and early years and discovering its transformative power. The founding of Great Falls was the brainchild of Paris Gibson, a Maine-born entrepreneur who became acquainted with railroad magnate James J. Hill in Minneapolis, Minnesota. By the years, Gibson was a sheep man in Fort Benton, Montana. He visited the Great Falls of the Missouri River in 1880 and was deeply impressed by the possibilities for building a major industrial city near the falls with power provided by hydroelectricity. He returned in 1883 with friend Robert Vaughan and some surveyors and planned a permanent settlement on the south side of the river. The city's first citizen, Silas Beachley, arrived later that year. With investments from Hill and from Helena businessman Charles Arthur Broadwater, houses, a store, and a flour mill were established in 1884. The Great Falls Post Office was established on July 10, 1884, and Gibson was named the first postmaster. A planning mill, lumber yard, bank, school, and newspaper were established in 1885. By 1887 the town had 1,200 citizens, and the arrival of Hill's Great Northern Railway in October of that year helped cement the city's future. Great Falls was incorporated on November 28, 1888. Great Falls quickly became a thriving industrial and supply center. A groundbreaking for a smelter in nearby Black Eagle took place in 1890, the same year that construction of a hydroelectric dam atop Black Eagle Falls was completed. The dam provided the fledgling city with electricity and marked the first major instance of hydroelectric power in Montana. In 1894, naturalist Vernon Bailey passed through and described Great Falls as a very good town, appears prosperous and booming, and I should judge contains 15,000 inhabitants. By the early years, Great Falls was en route to becoming one of Montana's largest cities. The rustic studio of famed Western artist Charles Marion Russell was a popular attraction, as were the famed Great Falls of the Missouri. Among the structures built in the early years were the Sandstone Central High School, completed in 1896, now the Paris Gibson Square Museum of Art, the ornate copper-domed Cascade County Courthouse 1903, and railroad passenger depots of the Great Northern Railway 1909 and the Milwaukee Road 1915, both overlooking the Missouri River. In the upcoming portion, we'll be dissecting railroad and hydroelectric expansion to gain a comprehensive understanding of its implications. James Jerome Hill, president and primary stockholder of the Great Northern Railway, established a subsidiary, the Montana Central Railway, on January 25, 1886. The mines in Butte were eager to get their metals to market. Gold and silver had been discovered near Helena, and coal companies in Canada sought to transport their fuel to Montana's smelters. Hill's close friend and business associate, Paris Gibson, promoted Great Falls as a site for the development of cheap hydroelectricity and heavy industry. As Hill was building the Great Northern across the northern tier of Montana, it made sense to also build a north-south railroad through central Montana to connect Great Falls with Helena and Butte. Surveyors and engineers had begun grading a route between Helena and Great Falls in the winter of, and by the end of 1886 had surveyed a route from Helena to Butte. Construction on the Great Northern's line westward began in late 1886, and on October 16, 1887, the link between Devil's Lake, North Dakota, Fort Assiniboine near the present-day city of Haverhill, Montana, and Great Falls was complete. Service to Helena began in November 1887, and Butte followed on November 10, 1888. Hill organized the Great Falls Water Power and Townsite Company in 1887, with the goal of developing the town of Great Falls, providing it with power, sewage, and water, and attracting commerce and industry to the city. To attract industry to the new city, he offered low rates on the Montana Central Railway. On September 12, 1889, the Boston and Montana B&M signed an agreement with Great Falls Water Power and Townsite Company, in which the power company agreed to build a dam that would supply the mining firm with at least 1,000 horsepower or 0.75 MW of power by September 1, 1890, and 5,000 horsepower or 3.73 MW of power by January 1, 1891. In exchange, B&M agreed to build a $300,000 copper smelter near the dam. Black Eagle Dam began generating electricity in December 1890. Water was permitted to flow over the crest of the dam on January 6, 1891, and the dam was considered complete on March 15, 1891. By 1912, Rainbow Dam and Volta Dam, now Ryan Dam, were all operating. Morney Dam was built in 1930 and Cochrane Dam in. As we enter this new chapter, let's navigate the complexities of smelting operations and unravel its multifaceted nature. On April 7, 1908, construction began on a masonry brick chimney measuring 506 foot tall on the B&M's, now the city's largest employer smelting site at Black Eagle, by the Alphonse Custodis Construction Company of New York for dispersal of fumes from B&M's copper smelting process. B&M would soon merge with the Amalgamated Copper Company and become the Anaconda Copper Mining Company, or ACM. The B&M smelter stack was completed on October 23, 1908. The chimney had an interior measurement of 78.5 foot in diameter at the base and 50 foot in diameter at the top. At the time of its completion, it was the tallest chimney in the World Sea List of tallest chimneys. With the moniker the Big Stack, it immediately became a landmark for the community. After over 70 years of operation, the smelter closed in 1980. The Big Stack's sister stack in Anaconda, also masonry brick construction, completed in 1919, and slightly taller at 585 ft, began to suffer from cracking, and the ACM decided to remove the support bands from the upper half of the Big Stack in 1976 and send them to Anaconda. This action proved to be the Big Stack's ultimate demise, since the cracks it was also suffering from rapidly worsened, such that the ACM, citing concern for public safety due to the continual deterioration of the stack's structural integrity, slated the Big Stack's demolition for September 18, 1982. In an interesting twist of fate, the demolition crew failed to accomplish the task on the first try. The two worst cracks in the stack ran from just above ground level to nearly convert up. The demolition team's intent was to create a wedge in the base so the stack's rubble would fall almost vertically into a large trench, but as the 600 pounds of explosives were set off, the cracks completed themselves all the way to the ground, effectively severing the stack into 2/3 and 1/3 pieces. Much to the delight of the spectating community, the smaller of the two pieces remained standing, but the failed demolition only solidified the safety issue, whereas the community cited the event as the stack's defiance. The demolition team who had planted the charges was recalled, and later the same afternoon they returned and finished the demolition, after packing another 400 pounds of explosives into the smaller wedge. As we venture forward, let's examine it present in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. During the first 2 decades of the 20th century, Great Falls prospered from a homesteading boom, strong agricultural markets, and favorable weather. It also became a financial center and regional shopping hub. In the late years, the federal government's New Deal programs provided Great Falls with a new civic center building, and the city's business sector expanded with the arrival of military installations during World War II, helping Great Falls become the state's largest city from 1950 to 1970. During World War II, the Northwest staging route passed through Great Falls, along which planes were delivered to the USSR according to the Lend-Lease program. Great Falls prospered further with the opening of a nearby military base in the Urs, but as rail transportation and freight slowed in the later part of the century, outlying farming areas lost population, and with the closure of the smelter and cutbacks at Malmstrom Air Force Base in the Urs, its population growth slowed. Great Falls was the location of the Mariana UFO incident in 1950, one of the earliest widely publicized UFO incidents. In recent years, the economy of Great Falls has suffered from the decline of heartland industry, much like other cities in the Great Plains and Midwest. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of geography. Thumbprint map of Montana showing Glacial Lake Great Falls. Great Falls is located near several waterfalls on the Missouri River. It lies near the center of Montana on the northern Great Plains. It lies next to the Rocky Mountain front and is approximately 100 miles south of the Canada's border. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 22.26 sq.mi, of which 21.79 sq.mi is land and 0.47 sq.mi is water. Get ready for an enlightening exploration as we dig into geology and understand its role in the broader context. The city of Great Falls lies atop the Great Falls Tectonic Zone, an intracontinental shear zone between two geologic provinces of basement rock of the Archean period which form part of the North American continent. The city lies at the southern reach of the Laurentid Ice Sheet, a vast glacial sheet of ice which covered much of North America during the last glacial period. Approximately 1.5 million years ago, the Missouri River flowed northward into a terminal lake. The Laurentid Ice Sheet pushed the river southward. Between 15,000 BCE and 11,000 BCE, the Laurentid Ice Sheet blocked the Missouri River and created glacial Lake Great Falls. About 13,000 BCE, as the glacier retreated, glacial Lake Great Falls emptied catastrophically in a glacial lake outburst flood. The current course of the Missouri River essentially marks the southern boundary of the Laurentid Ice Sheet. The Missouri River flowed eastward around the glacial mass, settling into its present course. As the ice retreated, meltwater from glacial Lake Great Falls poured through the Highwood Mountains and eroded the mile-long, 500-foot Shonkin Sag, one of the most famous prehistoric meltwater channels in the world. In the upcoming section, we'll be dissecting climate and exploring its implications in greater detail. Great Falls has a cold semi-arid climate, with a notable amount of summer precipitation occurring in the form of thunderstorms. Winters are very cold, long and often snowy, though periods of Chinook winds do cause warm spells and raise the maximum temperature above 50 Fahrenheit on an average of 15 afternoons during the 3-month winter period. In the absence of such winds, shallow cold snaps are common. There is an average of 20.8 nights with a low of 0 F or colder and 44 days failing to top freezing. The wettest part of the year is the spring. Summers are hot and dry, with highs reaching 90 F on 19 days per year, though the diurnal temperature variation is large and easily exceeds 30 F change. Freak early and late summer snowfalls such as a 2-day total of 8.3 in August 1992 can occur, although the median snowfall from June to September is 0 and on average the window for accumulating 0.1 in snowfall is October or May 13. The average first and last freeze dates are September 21 and May 21, respectively, allowing a growing season of 122 days, although, excepting for July, a freeze has occurred in every month of the year. Extreme temperatures range from F on February 15, 1936, to 107 F on July 25, 1933. Get ready for a captivating exploration as we unravel the layers of suburbs and their profound significance. Census-designated places contiguous to the city of Great Falls include Black Eagle, Malmstrom, AFB. With the foundation laid, let's embark on a journey into nearby communities. The entirety of Cascade County forms the Great Falls Metropolitan Statistical Area. Great Falls is an economic hub for a substantially larger region that includes most of north-central Montana. Small towns and census-designated places in Cascade County near Great Falls include Bells, Cascade, Fort Shaw, Gibson Flats, Monarch, Nyhart, Sand, Coulee, Sims, Sun Prairie, Sun River, Elmvorn. In this part of the video, we'll be diving deep into 2010 census and unraveling its profound impact. As of the census of 2010, there were 58,505 people, 25,301 households, and 15,135 families residing in the city. The population density was 2,684.9 sq.mi. There were 26,854 housing units at an average density of 1,232.4 sq.mi. The racial makeup of the city was 88.5% Caucasian, 1.1% African American, 5% Native American, 0.9% Asian, 0.1% Pacific Islander, 0.6% from other races, and 3.8% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino people of any race were 3.4% of the population. There were 25,301 households, of which 28.6% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 43.6% were married couples living together, 11.5% had a female householder with no husband present, 4.8% had a male householder with no wife present, and 40.2% were non-families. 33.5% of all households were made up of individuals, and 12.7% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.26 and the average family size was 2.88. The median age in the city was 39 years. 22.5% of residents were under the age of 18, 9.9% were between the ages of 18 and 24, 24.5% were from 25 to 44, 26.5% were from 45 to 64, and 16.6% were 65 years of age or older. The gender makeup of the city was 48.9% male and 51.1% female. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of 2000 census. As of the 2000 census, there were 56,690 people, 23,834 households, and 14,848 families residing in the city. The population density was 2,909.1 SCNI. There were 25,250 housing units at an average density of 1,295.7 SCNI. The racial makeup of the city was 89.96% Caucasian, 0.95% African American, 5.09% Native American, 0.86% Asian, 0.09% Pacific Islander, 0.6% from other races, and 2.45% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino people of any race were 2.39% of the population. There were 23,834 households, out of which 30.1% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 47.4% were married couples living together, 11.1% had a female householder with no husband present, and 37.7% were non-families. 31.9% of all households were made up of individuals, and 12.4% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.31 and the average family size was 2.92. In the city, the age distribution of the population shows 24.9% under the age of 18, 9% from 18 to 24, 27.7% from 25 to 44, 22.7% from 45 to 64, and 15.7% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 38 years. For every 100 females, there were 94.2 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 91.4 males. The median income for a household in the city was $32,436, and the median income for a family was $40,107. Males had a median income of $29,353 versus $20,859 for females. The per capita income for the city was $18,059. About 11.1% of families and 14.5% of the population were below the poverty line, including 20.3% of those under the age of 18 and 9.2% of those 65 and older. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of historic economy and discover its practical applications. Built as a railroad hub, Great Falls initially relied heavily on ore smelting in its early years. Black Eagle Dam, opened in 1890, was the first hydroelectric dam built in Montana and the first built on the Missouri River. The energy industry helped give the city of Great Falls the nickname the Electric City. The same year, the Boston and Montana Consolidated Copper and Silver Mining Company broke ground on a large smelter in the city, drawn to the location by the power provided by the dam. Elements came online over the next few years, with the final works an electrolytic refinery and blast furnaces complete in February and April 1893. By 1892, more than 1,000 workers were employed at the smelter. Energy production received a boost with the discovery of petroleum about 100 mi north of the city in the late Urs. Great Falls boasted 2 oil refineries by 1920, although a devastating fire left the city with just one after 1929. Her day in 1917, her day in 1920. While Montana flowers approached a farmland had gone out of cultivations, even as the national population grew by 16% between 1930 and 1940, Montana's population declined. Great Falls was one of the rare places in Montana which saw population growth. The city grew from 28,822 residents in 1930 to 29,928 residents in 1940. World War I saw the establishment of East Base, now Malmstrom Air Force Base in Great Falls in 1941, proved to be a turning point economically. The war not only created a huge demand for the agricultural products and metal products provided by the city but also fueled significant population growth in Great Falls. The base brought 4,000 new residents to the city. By 1943, the city's population had shot up by about 5,600 to 35,000. These new residents created a huge demand for goods and services, and a large number of new businesses sprang up to supply the base with its needs. The rapid population growth created a housing construction boom in Great Falls. The federal government paid for the construction of 300 new single-family homes during the war, although this was nowhere near the amount of new housing needed. East Base created a fundamental cultural and social shift in the city, one which became more pronounced over time as active duty personnel stayed in the city after retirement. The war also saw a major improvement to the Great Falls Municipal Airport. The 1928 facility received its first air traffic control tower in 1942, paid for by the federal government after the vast increase in flights over the city after the construction of the new air base. By 1950, Great Falls was Montana's largest city, having added 33% more residents during the Urs. Much of the city's growth was due to rising federal investment in defense and healthcare, and it was an important regional convention, trade, and medical center. In 1951, Anaconda consolidated its statewide zinc production in Great Falls, adding substantial numbers of new workers, and in 1955 opened an aluminum smelter in the city. The O.S. Warden Bridge opened in 1951, designed to turn a then mostly undeveloped 10th Avenue South into a straight line bypass through the city. Extraordinary increases in traffic on 10th Avenue South led the state to transform the 2-lane street in 1956 into an 80-foot wide 4-lane highway with a central median. Previously an undeveloped area with only the occasional residents, the 1956 changes to 10th Avenue South turned the highway into a vibrant business district. Construction of the new campus of the College of Great Falls began on 10th Avenue South in 1959, and the new Deaconess Hospital in 1963. 10th Avenue South received its first traffic signals in 1964. Great Falls' reputation as a retail hub for central Montana emerged in the Urs. A Holiday Village Mall opened as an open-air shopping center in 1959, and by 1969 had expanded to become a modern enclosed shopping mall. Westgate Mall opened in 1965, Agri Village Warehouse, later Agri Village Shopping Center in 1967, and Evergreen Mall in 1983. The city was one of Montana's most important agricultural equipment sales and distribution hubs, and the Great Falls Livestock Commission Company, established in 1936, had become an important multi-state livestock auction center. In the years, Great Falls' economic future appeared bright. The city's population reached 55,357 in 1960, an 85% increase since 1940. It was one of the fastest-growing cities in the nation, including the adjacent unincorporated town of Black Eagle, Malmstrom Air Force Base personnel, and certain minor adjacent residential blocks. The population was estimated to be more than 72,000 by 1964. The largest city in Montana in 1965, state planning agencies believed Great Falls would have a population of 100,000 by 1981. The economy of Great Falls began a significant diminution in the years. The nation of Chile nationalized Anaconda Copper's extensive, lucrative copper mines in 1971, causing the company to suffer massive financial losses. It closed its Great Falls zinc operation in 1971, and the rest of the smelter in 1980. About 1,450 high-wage Anaconda employees lost their jobs during the decade. Changes in the defense posture of the United States led to significant cutbacks at Malmstrom Air Force Base as well. These included the loss of 476 men and officers in 1972, 30 men in 1974, 1,015 men and officers in 1979, 100 men in 1981, 30 men in 1982, and 360 men and officers in 1983. The job losses stripped $18.20 million from the local economy in 1985 alone. The base lost another 1,017 jobs between 1992 and 1996. Let's transition to current economy and uncover its significance. Since the Great Recession of the Great Falls economy proved sluggish, growing at an annual rate of 0.9% compared to a statewide average of 1.8% and a national rate of 2%. Growth was strongest in construction and manufacturing, followed by back-office business services such as Blue Cross Blue Shield of Montana's new insurance claims processing center, healthcare such as the opening of the Great Falls Clinic Hospital, retail sales, social welfare such as the opening of the Cameron Family Center, which houses 26 homeless families, and tourism. The city's lack of population growth, coupled with low commodity prices for agricultural producers, has significantly hindered growth in the city for 2 decades. The lack of growth worsened poverty in the city. There were no neighborhoods of concentrated poverty in the city in 2010, but by 2016 1,254 city residents lived in such areas. The number of Great Falls residents living in poverty during the same period rose by 10.37%, 1,100 people, for a citywide poverty rate of 19.9%. Great Falls suffered from more concentrated poverty than any other city in the state. Low economic and population growth have also harmed real estate values in the city. While the median price of a home in 5 other large Montana cities, Billings, Bozeman, Helena, Kalispell, and Missoula, was $262,960 in 2017. It was just $169,500 in Great Falls during the same period. That is $93,460, or 35.5% less. The median price of a home statewide in Montana during that period was $217,200 in dollars, with Great Falls home prices $47,700, or 22% less. A 2016 report by the Bureau of Business and Economic Development at the University of Montana predicted the city's economy would be driven by manufacturing, retail sales, and tourism over the next several years. The city had long tried to rebuild its agricultural processing industry, and egg production and specialty milling both saw expanded operations in the city in 2015. In 2016, the city won an $8 million grant from the state of Montana to open a food and ag development center, only one of 4 in Montana. Working with BNSF Railway, the city's development agency converted 197 acre of disused railroad yard into a full-service heavy industrial food and agricultural processing site. Named Agritech Park, the site won an Excellence in Regional Transportation Award from the National Association of Development Organizations. FedEx Ground, Moribund and Cargill all took space in the park by the end of 2018. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of military. Great Falls is home to Malmstrom Air Force Base and the 341st Missile Wing. The 341st Operations Group provides the forces to launch, monitor and secure the wing's intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM and missile alert facilities MAF. These ICBMs and MAFs are dispersed over the largest missile complex in the Western Hemisphere, an area encompassing some 23,000 square, approximately the size of the state of West Virginia. The group manages a variety of equipment, facilities, and vehicles worth more than $5 billion. The 819th REDHORSE Squadron and the 219th REDHORSE Squadron NTANG, both rapid deployment units, are also located at Malmstrom AFB. The Malmstrom Squadrons is the first associate REDHORSE squadrons in the Air Force, approximately 2/3 active duty and 1/3 Air National Guard. The Montana Air National Guard 219th REDHORSE Squadron. The 819th REDHORSE Squadron was reactivated on August 8, 1997 at Malmstrom AFB. Great Falls International Airport is home to the Montana Air National Guard's 120th Airlift Wing. The OR is composed of C-130 Hercules C-cargo aircraft and associated support personnel. Great Falls is also home to the 889th Army Reserve Unit. Get ready for a thought-provoking discussion as we delve into arts and culture and its impact on our understanding. Great Falls has a symphony orchestra founded in 1959, which performs concert series, sponsors the youth orchestras, the Cascade String Quartet and Chinook Winds Quintet, offers chamber ensembles, and offers an educational outreach program. The community also is notable for the unique Sip and Dip Lounge, a tiki bar located downtown in the Ohio Motor Inn. Built in 1962, it features an indoor swimming pool visible through a window in the bar where women dressed as mermaids swim underwater. In 2003, GQ magazine rated the lounge as one of the top 10 bars in the world, and the bar in the world worth flying for. With the added feature of an octogenarian piano player named Piano Pat, noted for her unusual covers of songs by Frank Sinatra and other performers of the Earth. Frommer's travel guide calls it one of the kitschest, wokest, and flat-out coolest night spots, not just in Montana, but in the entire West. Turning our focus to Four Seasons Arena, let's explore its key elements. The Four Seasons Arena is a multi-purpose indoor sports and exhibition arena located in the city of Great Falls, Montana, in the United States. Constructed in 1979, it served primarily as an ice rink until 2005. The failure of the practice rink's refrigeration system in 2003 and the management's decision to close the main rink in 2006 led to the facility's reconfiguration as an indoor sports and exhibition space. As of May 2011, it was the largest exhibition, music, and sports venue in the city. As we venture forward, let's examine sports in detail and gain a deeper appreciation for its significance. Club Sport League Stadium or Arena, Great Falls Voyagers Baseball, Pioneer League Centene Stadium, Great Falls Gladiators Football, Rocky Mountain Football League Memorial Stadium, Great Falls Americans Ice Hockey, North American 3 Hockey League, Great Falls Iceplex. For the WHL season, Great Falls and the Four Seasons Arena was the home of the Great Falls Americans hockey team. See below. The team was before folding. Great Falls has a rich baseball history with the Voyagers, formerly called the White Sox, Dodgers and Giants. Baseball players such as Pedro Martinez, Jose Offerman, and Raul Mondes have spent time in Great Falls with the team. Since 1988, the team has won the Pioneer League Championship 6 times: 1988, 1989, 1990, 2002, 2008, and 2011. In 2007, the Great Falls Explorers basketball team were the CBA National Conference runner-up. Great Falls has been home to the Great Falls Americans junior ice hockey team since the season. Great Falls is home to the Great Falls Gladiators semi-professional football team. The Gladiators are currently the defending Rocky Mountain Football League champions, recording a record and winning the A Division championship at home in Memorial Stadium. With that being said, let's now move on to government. The city has a commission-manager form of government. The commission is composed of the mayor and 4 elected commissioners. The mayor serves a 2-year term. Corey Reed became mayor in 2024. The commissioners are elected to overlapping 4-year terms. In this section, we'll be deep diving into education, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. The Great Falls Public Schools system, including both elementary and high school districts, covers the entire city. The elementary school district and high school district have the same territory and include Great Falls, Black Eagle, Gibson Flats, Malmstrom Air Force Base, and portions of Sun Prairie and Ulm. There are 20 schools within the system. These include 2 public high schools, an alternative high school, 2 middle schools, and 15 elementary schools. The 2 public high schools are Great Falls High School and Charles M. Russell High School. The alternative high school is Paris Gibson Education Center, located in the former Paris Gibson Junior High School building. The 2 middle schools are North Middle School and East Middle School. The state-operated Montana School for the Deaf and Blind is in Great Falls. Great Falls also is home to many private schools, all of them sponsored by religious organizations. The Catholic Church sponsors several schools in the city, including Great Falls Montessori Grades Pre-K to K, Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic School Pre-K to Grade 8, Holy Spirit Catholic School Pre-K to Grade 8, and Great Falls Central Catholic High School Grades 9 to 12. The Conservative Baptist Association of America sponsors 2 schools in the city, Heritage Baptist School K to Grade 9 and Treasure State Baptist Academy Pre-K to Grade 12. The Seventh-day Adventist Church also sponsors 2 schools, Adventist Christian Grades 1 to 8 and 5 Falls Christian Church Grades 1 to 8. There is also non-denominational Christian school, Foothills Community Christian School Pre-K to Grade 12. Great Falls is home to 3 institutions of higher education. Great Falls College Montana State University is a 2-year public institution of higher learning. It was founded as the Great Falls Vocational Technical Center in 1969 and received its current name after the state restructured the 2-year comprehensive colleges in the state in 2012. Although a public institution since its creation, it became part of the Montana University system in 1994. The University of Providence, formerly named the University of Great Falls, a private, 4-year Catholic university, was founded in 1932 by the Sisters of Providence and the Ursuline Sisters. Apollos University is a private, distance education university, founded in 2005 and headquartered in Great Falls since 2016. Also opening in July 2023 will be a School of Osteopathic Medicine from the New York-based Touro University system, the first medical school in Montana. It will operate as Toricum Montana under the Toro College of Osteopathic Medicine Toricum branding and will be the 5th school of osteopathic medicine and 6th overall medical school, 5 osteopathic and 1 allopathic under the Toro University system. Great Falls has a public library, the Great Falls Public Library. In this section, we'll be peeling back the layers of AM radio to reveal its true essence. KMON 560 KEIN 1310 KXGF 1400 KQDI 1450. Let's transition to FM radio and uncover its significance. KGPR 89.9 KLFM 92.9 KMON FM 94.5 KVVR 97.9 KAAK 98.9 KLSK 100.3 KMXM 101.9 KINX 102.7 KIKF 104.9 KQDI FM 106.1 KIMO 107.3. Now, let's shift our attention to television. KRTV3 CBS KFBB5 ABC KTGF LD50 NBC Rebroadcasts KTV HDT Helen KUGF TV21 PBS. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards newspapers and uncover its hidden depths. The Great Falls Tribune is published in Great Falls. Great Falls is the second largest media market in the state of Montana. As of 2022, the paper is no longer printed locally. Instead, it is printed in Helena, Montana and distributed daily via carrier. In this section, we'll be peeling back the layers of airports to reveal its true essence. Great Falls is served by Great Falls International Airport, with 4 passenger and 5 cargo airlines. Of those, only Allegiant Air and FedEx Express provide service to the city with mainline large jet aircraft. In this section, we'll be exploring highways. Great Falls is served by the following highways: Interstate 15, Interstate 15 Bucents, Interstate 315 not official, signed as I-315, US Route 87, US Route 89, Montana Highway 3, Montana Highway 200. In this chapter, we'll be shedding light on notable people and its role in shaping our understanding. Valeen Tippett Avery, biographer and historian. Bosco, contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14. Walter Bruning, once the oldest man in the world. Mal Bross, National Football League player. James R. Browning, judge and former chief judge on U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit and former clerk of U.S. Supreme Court. Dorothy Coburn, silent movie actress. Walter Coy, actor. Brian Coyle, Minnesota community leader and gay activist. Garrison Courtney, former federal employee and con artist. Scott Davis, figure skater. Dave Dickinson, Canadian Football League quarterback. Patrick Dwyer, National Hockey League player. Corey Fong, North Dakota State Tax Commissioner. Todd Foster, Olympic boxer. Norman A. Fox, Western author. Ted Gahagan, horror filmmaker. John Gibbons, Major League Baseball manager. Paris Gibson, U.S. Senator, city founder. Missy Gold, child actress on Benson. Tyler Graham, professional baseball player. Melanie G. Griffith, member of Maryland House of Delegates. A.B. Guthrie Jr., author of The Way West. Malcolm Hancock, magazine cartoonist. Charles South Hartman, U.S. Representative from Montana. Paul G. Hatfield, Federal District Court Judge 1979 to 2000, former U.S. Senator, former Chief Justice of the Montana Supreme Court, former Montana State District Court Judge. Lester Hogan, pioneer in microwave and semiconductor technology. George Horsecatcher, Native American activist and museum curator. Joseph Kinsey Howard, author and historian. Josh Hustis, NBA player. Patrick M. Hughes, Lieutenant General, United States Army, Director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Alma Smith Jacobs, Director, Great Falls Public Library. First African American Montana State Librarian. J. L. Johnson, U.S. Navy Admiral, Chief of Naval Operations. Raymond A. Johnson, aviation pioneer, worked at Great Falls Airport in as Nathaniel by Jonah, convicted kidnapper, child molester, suspected serial killer and cannibal. Edward McKnight Coffer, early 20th graphic designer and poster artist. Pat Kelton, actress, the original Alice Crandon on The Honeymooners. Ryan Lance, CEO of ConocoPhillips. Ryan Leaf, former NFL quarterback. Barbara Luddy, actress. Howard Lyman, vegetarian activist. Mike Mansfield, U.S. Representative, Senator, longest-serving Senate Majority Leader, U.S. Ambassador to Japan. Linda McDonald, drummer in all-girl metal band Phantom Blues. Sarah McFadden, writer. Q. Mitchell, served in United States Senate and House of Representatives for the state of Washington. Gerald R. Mullen, film producer. George Montgomery, actor, painter, sculptor and stuntman, born in nearby Brady. Matt Morrison, Fox Sports Net sportscaster. Dallas Neal, former NFL punter. Andrew Nelson, Japanese language lexicographer. Tom Neville, NFL player. Patrick, adult film actress. John Mishapekevich, figure skater. Charles Nelson Prey, former U.S. Representative from Montana. Charlie Pride, country singer. Trevor Raines, half of the New York fashion design duo Heather Merle Green Robertson, artist, art historian, archaeologist, and Mayan. Reese Johanna Rose, Christian musician. Adam Rosendale, Montana state legislator and businessman. William V. Roth, Jr., U.S. Representative and Senator from Delaware. Charles Marion Russell, Western artist. Brian Solonen, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Jamie Sire, ESPN sportscaster. John Steele, American expert. Author. Wallace Stegner, author of Angle of Repose. Hayla Studdard, actress, writer, producer and director. Anton D. Strauff, Montana and Wisconsin state legislator. Lawyer. Gary W. Thomas, California State Judge. Edward L. Thrasher, Los Angeles City Council member, born in Great Falls. Al Ullman, U.S. Congressman from Oregon. Thomas Celsius Wasson, diplomat who was killed while serving as the Consul General for the United States in Jerusalem. Reggie Watts, comedian, musician, performance artist. John Warner, Justice of the Montana Supreme Court. Irving Weissman, scientist. Bill Zadig, wrestler. Mike Zadig, wrestler. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting in popular culture. Several motion pictures have been filmed in Great Falls. These include Thunderbolt and Lightfoot 1974, Telephone 1977, The Stone Boy 1983, Unsolved Mysteries Season 3, Episode 12, 1990, Holy Matrimony 1994, The Slaughter Roll 2002, Norfolk 2003, Iron Ridge 2008, The Vessel 2009, Reborn 2008, Tomorrow Will Be 2010, Who's in the Mirror 2013, The Best Bar in America 2013. In the next phase, we'll be immersing ourselves in the realm of Sister City and exploring its real-world applications. Great Falls has one sister city, as designated by Sister Cities International SCI, Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Stay connected and join our community by subscribing and following me on other platforms.